Hey guys, Taylor Knapp here with MotoEverythings Diesel Ops Racing with a post-race weekend recap from the Round 2 MotoAmerica Championship at Road Atlanta. So leaving COTA, heading to Road Atlanta. It was a pretty back-to-back schedule. We raced one weekend in COTA in Texas. The following weekend was round 2 at Road Atlanta. So didn't give us a lot of time to get back to the race shop and get things ready. We kind of knew going into the first round that we were going to have everything basically ready for the first 2 rounds. And leaving COTA, we left from Austin, Texas on Monday morning. Did a little maintenance to the truck. We had to get an axle seal fixed at a Freightliner dealership. So spent our Monday at the dealership getting everything fixed with the rig before we headed east for Atlanta. So we got to Atlanta, stayed with a buddy, did a little work on the bikes, cleaned them up, got them ready. Race weekend came around, we rolled the bikes out, tacked them, and everything was rolling a lot smoother at Road Atlanta than it was at COTA. So, things were getting better. I had my teammate with us at Road Atlanta, so it felt more like a normal race to me. His name's Gabe Miller, and he'll be racing in the 600 Super Stock this year. We'll both be competing on Yamahas. Him on a Yamaha R6, me on a Yamaha R1. Pretty excited about the forming of the team and how it's coming along. We've hired the team has hired Robert Jensen, which was a guy that I kind of bumped heads with racing a lot when I raced Wira, and have a lot of respect for him. And he'll be mechanic and crew chief for Gabe, and it's kind of cool to have him on board. So basically, everyone's there from the team. We're doing good at Road Atlanta. To start out for myself, first session was good. The bike settings were pretty good leaving COTA, and we kind of rolled with that. Unfortunately for me, I didn't have my mechanic Tom, which he helps me a ton, and he's part of the reason I've done so good over the years is a lot due to him. So he couldn't actually make the weekend. He was with us at COTA, but he wasn't there at Atlanta. So we had to bring in another guy, Zach. I'd never worked with Zach before, so never know what you're going to get. He was recommended by some of the guys I know, and he worked out awesome. We're really happy to have him working with us over the weekend, working with me specifically, and we gelled as a team and did pretty good. So to kick the weekend off, practice was pretty good. Qualifying, basically how it works is there's 3 practice sessions for 1,000 Superstock. They take the top 10 from the best time of the top 3 practice sessions, lock you into what they call Super Pole, and Super Pole is a qualifying session, and you get a qualifying tire, and they basically take the best lap from that. So if you get in the top 10 in the practice sessions, you're locked in. You can't do any worse than 10th or 12th. They take the top 2 from Super Pole 1, let them go in Super Pole 2. So basically, in qualifying, I came in, there was a red flag, and we were 11th. I was a little bummed out. I would have missed being locked into that Super Pole, and I knew I could go faster, so we struggled with qualifying in COTA, and it was looking like it was going to be another bummer qualifying effort at Road Atlanta. So I was kind of bummed about that. And then, there was 5 minutes left on the clock. So they announced over the radios, they're going to get 5 more extra minutes of qualifying. So I, got my thoughts together and gathered my stuff up, put in a solid hard 5 minutes, and came in well inside the top 10. I think we were 8th or 9th, so was pretty happy with that extra 5 minutes. Gave me a chance to go faster, locked me into the Super Pole session, and things were looking good again. So coming into Super Pole, I had never ran the qualifier by Dunlop. This year's a new thing that they let us run qualifying tires, and these things are really, really grippy, and they're only good for one single lap. If you mess that lap up, you're done. And the tire basically is so soft that it just gets shredded. So they caught us off guard for the taking off for Super Pole 2. I was a little late out of the gate, which was kind of a bummer for me. I like to get up front, kind of mix it up with the guys, and I missed that toe, as they say, and got riding around by myself in the back. Luckily, I put a pretty good solid time in on the harder tire. Came in, decided to do my own lap with this soft qualifying tire. Never ran it before. All the guys, have ran them before at COTA. They ran them at the test, so they've got a lot more experience on those Qs, as they call them. And basically, I know from the past that qualifying tires are just what they call just gummy gumball tires that you got to just stick the thing pretty much wide open and turn your brain off. So I wasn't too worried. Went out, kind of got behind Josh Herron and Josh Hayes a little bit. Two good guys to get with in your qualifying group. So kind of fell into place there. Put my first lap in, and I wasn't too far off of Josh Hayes. I seen on my lap timer that was a pretty good lap, and after the lap, I think it was a 26.4, I felt like I could go much faster. So the guys at Dunlop had said the tire was only good for one lap. I had done that lap, and the tire felt fine, so I was going to push harder the second lap to try to better my time and move up a little bit more, because I knew I left a little time on the table out there on the track. So pushed it really hard the second lap. Josh Herron kind of caught Josh Hayes. I kind of caught Josh Herron, and it was shaping up to be an amazing lap. Josh Herron had a big moment coming out of turn 10A and almost crashed, and I had to just check up a little bit to not hit him. He got out of the way, crashed in the gravel trap, and I went through, but lost a couple tenths there, and the tire was absolutely toasted at the end of that qualifying Super Pole 2 session. And so Super Pole was fun. It was cool to use the qualifying tire. Got up around 8th or 9th, locked us into third row on the start combined. So a lot of super bikes up there, and then only a couple super stocks ahead of me. And it was a good solid third row starting position for the weekend. So I was really happy to get into Super Pole, and then I was really happy to do the best time that I've ever done around Road Atlanta, which was a 26.4. So leading into the race, I was feeling good. Race 1 and 2 are both on Sunday in the MotoAmerica weekends. So one race is early in the morning, one race is last in the day. And got off to a pretty good start in the race, was feeling pretty good. And we were all in a really tight group. I felt faster in the first section of the track, but I noticed that they were kind of gapping me in the second half of the track. So, there's only so much I could do in the first. It would kind of get bottlenecked up, and I couldn't really pass them. But I felt like if I would have had clear track, I could have, pulled a little gap on the guys. I got racing with, I think it was Josh Herron, Claudio Corti, Sheridan Marias, and Bobby Fong was riding really well too. So we were all right there in a group. Could have threw a blanket over all of us. We'd get to the back stretch, and whoever was behind would have double drafted back, and you never knew who was going to come out of that lap in front of the group. So I ended up leading a couple laps and getting shuffled back to 7th or 8th a couple laps. So it was good fun racing. We were into the rev limiter a little bit too much in race 1, and we'd get to the backstretch. I'd get a really good drive, and I'd kind of run out of steam, and the guys would come back by me. So, one of the times I did get sucked up in the draft, and I knew I could break really deep into 10A and use that draft to my advantage, and kind of sucked up in there and just, break really, really deep. And once you commit to breaking deep, you just got to stick it in there. And there was a moment in there where we were kind of 4 wide going into 10A, and it was just good, tight, fun racing. So at the end of the race, I felt like I'd positioned myself pretty well for an attack on the last lap. Conserved my tire, conserved my energy, There was nothing more I could have done to pull away because we were all drafting each other. So I think I was sitting fourth and came onto the backstretch and had a really good drive. Was feeling like I could get up on them in the draft and pass them on the brakes, where I felt really strong. But unfortunately, we had been having some fueling issues throughout the weekend, and I came onto that backstretch and it was kind of spitting and sputtering, and kind of had to survive at the time. So I did a lot of work and I felt it kind of slip away on that last lap, which was kind of a bummer. So I got into turn 10 and 12 and they had ran themselves wide, and I caught right back up even running out of fuel. I was right on them at the finish, and was kind of bummed out at the end of race one to know I could have won the race, but the bike was cutting short on fuel. So I wasn't happy, and I knew I could do better in race two. And we fixed the fueling issue, changed some settings to the bike, helped Gabe in the super stock race, and kind of cleared my mind for the second go in race two later in the day, and got another good start. Led a couple laps again. Josh Herron had ran off at one point. He was riding really well and really smooth. He came back through the pack, passed us, and we went back and forth. And we actually caught Jake Gagne on the super bike at one point. And Josh Herron had stuffed him pretty hard, enough to check him up. And there's a video clip of me going around the outside of the Aprilia and the super bike of Jake Gagne. So he got through pretty clean, Josh Herron, but I got checked up, lost the toe. We got the white flag. I put a really solid last lap in race two, and I knew those guys, I knew I was strong in sector one. Put a nice little gap on the guys behind me, enough to where they couldn't get up and stuff it up the inside of me and make that pass. So, I wanted to go for the win. Ultimately, that's what I'm there to do, is win races. But, I'm really, really happy to turn my luck around and get the MotoEverything Diesel Ops Yamaha R1 back up on the podium where it belongs. And, coming away from the weekend with a fourth and a second, really, really happy with the crew, happy with the way my teammate rode, happy with the way the mechanics worked together. We worked as a team, and we had some really strong results at Road Atlanta. It's a track I, have a lot of laps around, and always look forward to going back to Road Atlanta. So, at the end of the weekend, it was good. I've got to say a big thank you to all our sponsors, especially MotoEverything and Diesel Ops, Vortex, everyone that helps out, Chicken Hawk Warmers, Spectral Oils, Tri-R Distributing, Arai Helmets for keeping me safe, and G-Moto Leathers, Alpine Star Boots, everyone that helps out, that keeps us on the racetrack. Big thank you to them. Big thanks to the crew. Thanks to Tom, who wasn't there but was working from home helping me with electronics, and the bike was awesome. We are sitting fourth in points after round two, and looking forward to more podium finishes. And we're heading to New Jersey in a couple weeks, so stay tuned for some New Jersey footage, and hopefully see you guys on top step of the podium there.